Most people move through life following the crowd. They look for comfort, safety, and the familiar. It's easier that way. Being surrounded by others makes them feel secure. But some people, they walk a different path. They don't fit in, and they know it. Deep down, something inside them pulls them away from the group. It's not arrogance. It's not rebellion. It's instinct. Maybe you felt it too, that quiet feeling that you were never meant to follow, that you see things differently, that noise and chaos don't feel like home. While everyone else seems content blending in, something inside you keeps whispering, there's more than this. That whisper is the beginning. It's the first sign that you're not like the rest. The world we live in is loud. People are always talking, always scrolling, always trying to keep themselves distracted. Most don't even realize they're asleep, just going through the motions. But when you're one of the few who feels different, who can't seem to lose yourself in the noise, it gets lonely. It feels like you're on the outside looking in. That's the cost of waking up. You begin to see through the illusions. Being different often means being alone. That's the part they don't talk about. You lose people. You lose comfort. You might even lose everything you once held close. And when that happens, the silence can feel overwhelming. It's not just quiet, it's heavy. You sit with your own thoughts and doubts, and it feels like the world has turned its back on you. I know, because I've been there. One day, everything I thought I could count on disappeared. The people I loved were gone. The support I thought I had vanished. It was like the floor dropped out from under me. I was left standing alone, face to face with the reality I never wanted to accept. No one was coming to save me. I had to figure it out alone. That kind of loneliness doesn't just hurt, it changes you. At first, I hated it. I fought it. I wanted to go back to the way things were, even if it meant pretending. But eventually, I stopped resisting. I let the silence in. And in that silence, something strange happened. I started to hear myself. Not the version the world shaped, but the real voice underneath all the noise. And that voice was strong. See, most people avoid being alone because it forces them to face who they really are. They fill every moment with distractions so they don't have to feel what's beneath the surface. But when you sit in that silence long enough, when you stop running, you begin to change. You start to see clearly. The pain doesn't go away, but it becomes a kind of fuel. A teacher, a guide. And that's the beginning of transformation. You stop reacting to everything. You stop being pulled in every direction by emotions, drama, or fear. You start choosing your responses. You become calm in chaos, still when others panic. That's power, not the kind that shouts, but the kind that holds steady. People notice it. They might call you cold or emotionless. But what they don't understand is that you feel everything deeply. You've just learned to control it instead of letting it control you. When others lose their temper, you stay quiet. When the room gets loud, you listen. When people push you, hoping to get a reaction, you give them nothing. And that's when they get uncomfortable. Because once they realize they can't control you, they don't know what to do. People are used to pushing buttons and watching reactions. But when you don't react the way they expect, it shakes them. That's the mark of someone who's been through the fire and come out stronger. You've trained yourself to be calm under pressure. You've learned that not every battle is worth fighting. You've realized that silence can be more powerful than words. You see the bigger picture, and that keeps you one step ahead. But the transformation doesn't stop there. Once your mind quiets down, something even more powerful happens. You begin to see, not just with your eyes, but with your gut. You start noticing things that others miss. You sense when someone's words don't match their energy. You feel tension in a room before anyone speaks. You spot lies hidden in smiles. It's like having X-ray vision for human nature. And it's not because you're special. It's because you paid attention. While others were busy avoiding silence, you studied it. You became a student of people. You watched how they move, how they talk, how they shift when they're hiding something. And now, you see through the masks they wear. You recognize who's real and who's pretending. That makes people nervous. Most people don't want to be seen like that. They want to keep their masks on. They want others to believe the version of themselves they've created. But you can't be fooled. You don't fall for the act. That's why some are drawn to you and others are afraid of you. You make people feel exposed, sometimes without saying a word. But that vision, that awareness, it's not just a shield. It's a tool. You can use it to build real connections, the kind most people never experience. Because when you meet someone who's real, who doesn't pretend, you feel it immediately. There's no need to explain. It's like two warriors recognizing each other after a long battle. There. Powerful, honest. And then there's the mind itself, the sharpness that develops in silence. While others are buried in distractions, you've developed focus. When they chase 10 things at once, you move with intention. While they hesitate, you decide. That kind of mental clarity is rare in a world full of noise. You don't waste time on things that don't matter. You've cut away the unnecessary. You think with precision. You plan ahead. You move when it matters. People might not understand how you do it, how you make decisions so quickly, so confidently. But the truth is, your clarity was forged in solitude. Most people fear stillness. They can't sit with their own thoughts for even 5 minutes. They need background noise, distractions, something to keep them from looking inward. But you've gone the other way. You walked into the silence. You sat with your fears. You let the discomfort wash over you. And instead of running, you stayed. At first, your thoughts were loud. Memories, regrets, doubts. But you didn't flinch. You waited. And eventually, the storm passed. What was left behind was a clear mind. Focused, sharp, ready. That's the mind of someone who's trained in the quiet. That's why you move differently. That's why people sense something in you they can't name. You're not controlled by the world anymore. You've built yourself from the inside out. You've faced the worst parts of yourself, and you've come out on the other side. Stronger, wiser, quieter, more dangerous. You don't seek revenge. You don't seek approval. You seek growth, truth, purpose. That's why you stand out. That's why people notice when you walk into a room. Some will be drawn to you. Some will be intimidated. But all will feel something shift. Because your presence isn't just loud, it's real. You're not alone. There are others like you. Not many, but enough. The ones who walk through darkness and come out with light in their eyes. The ones who don't just survive, they evolve. The ones who turn isolation into strength, pain into wisdom, silence into clarity. You are one of them. People often mistake your confidence for recklessness. But what they don't understand is that long before you ever take action, you've already fought the battle in your mind. You've considered the risks. You've faced your fears. You've cleared out the illusions that confuse most people. While they sit still, overthinking and hesitating, you've already moved. And that terrifies them. Most people don't understand what it means to have that kind of focus. They don't get why you don't hesitate, why you don't get stuck in doubt or fear. They think you're lucky, bold, or just strange. But what they don't see is the work you've done in silence. They don't see how you've trained your mind, how you've cut away the distractions that cloud judgment. While they were chasing trends, you were sharpening your thoughts into something powerful. You don't speak to impress. You speak to cut through. You don't act to be noticed. You act because you've already made peace with the outcome. You've trained yourself to see things clearly, to make decisions with precision and confidence. And that kind of certainty? It's rare. That's why they can't control you. That's why they can't manipulate you. Because they're used to dealing with people who second-guess themselves, who get lost in emotions, who need approval. But not you. You see the truth without flinching. You see through lies, false smiles, and fake confidence. That's what separates you from the 80%, the majority who are still trying to find themselves. You've already found your ground. You walk with purpose. You act with clarity. And while others drift from one thing to another, you move with a mission. But let's be honest, it's not about being perfect. You still make mistakes. You still have moments of uncertainty. But here's the key difference. You don't stay stuck. When confusion shows up, you cut through it. When fear tries to slow you down, you keep moving. You don't run from storms, you walk straight into them. And while most people are still deciding whether to start, you're already standing at the finish line. Calm, unshaken, focused. But there's more to this story. It's not just about focus. It's about what you feel. You carry something most people ignore, the ability to feel deeply, to sense what others hide, to see past the surface. They pretend to be okay. They smile. They laugh. But you can tell when it's all a mask. You can feel the pain behind their words. You can sense the tension behind their calm. Most people live on the surface. They believe what they're told. They accept what they see. But not you. You see people for who they really are. Even if they don't say a word, you already know. Their energy speaks before they open their mouths. Their silence screams louder than their talk. You didn't ask for this power. It came from struggle. Before you could read others, you had to face yourself. You had to deal with your own pain, your fears, your shadows. While others looked for distractions, you sat in the silence. You faced what hurt. You processed what others avoided. And that shaped you into something rare. Now, when you look into someone's eyes, you don't just see them. You feel them. You understand them. And that makes people uncomfortable because deep down, they know they can't hide from you. Even if you say nothing, your presence speaks louder than words. But here's what truly sets you apart. You don't use this insight to manipulate or hurt. You use it to connect, to heal, to help people feel seen, maybe for the first time in their lives. That's why people open up to you without knowing why. They tell you things they've never told anyone else. Because your presence feels real, and real is rare. Still, this gift comes with weight. While you feel others' pain, few understand yours. People lean on you, but who do you lean on? You carry others, but who carries you? That's the hidden cost of being one of the rare ones. And sometimes it means walking alone, not because you want to, but because few can walk at your depth. Even then, never forget, your ability to feel isn't weakness. It's your greatest strength. In a world of shallow connections and fake smiles, the ability to feel deeply, to understand without words, is power. That's why people remember you. That's why they fear you. That's why you'll always be different. And now we reach something even deeper, your relationship with time. Most people waste time like it's nothing. They fill it with distractions. They run from silence. They avoid being alone. Because silence is loud when you're hiding from yourself. But not you. You made solitude your home. You used isolation as fuel. While others feared being alone, you saw it as your training ground. You didn't run from yourself. You studied yourself. You faced every flaw, every fear, every broken piece, and you began to transform. While others used time to escape, you used it to evolve. You turned boredom into discipline. You made time your ally. And that's something few people ever do. They look for noise. You look for growth. They chase dopamine. You chase purpose. They fear stillness. You became powerful in it. You became a time alchemist. While others wasted years, you were building, slowly, quietly, without anyone watching. You were learning, refining, sharpening. And now, when you step back into the world, you move differently. You speak with weight. You act with purpose. You no longer need approval because you've already approved of yourself. The world can feel it. People don't know what changed, but they know something did. The person they used to know is gone. And in your place stands someone calm, centered, and unstoppable. That's what happens when you master solitude. When you use your time instead of letting it use you. And the truth is, they never saw it coming. While they were chasing likes, you were chasing mastery. While they were stuck in drama, you were building discipline. While they tried to escape themselves, you embraced yourself. That's why you're ahead and always will be. But here's the part that matters most. This journey isn't over. Knowing you're different isn't enough. You have to live it. You have to keep showing up for yourself. Because every day, the world will try to pull you back into comfort, into distraction, into the noise. But you know better now. You know that every second is a seed. And the way you spend your time determines what you'll harvest later. Most will scroll past this truth. They'll go back to their habits, their numbing, their endless search for something outside themselves. You won't. You've seen behind the curtain. You've felt the power of silence, the strength of focus, the clarity that comes from solitude. So now it's your move. Keep building, keep evolving, keep moving forward when others freeze. Because the world isn't ready for the version of you that's emerging, but you are. And when it finally sees what you become, it'll be too late to catch up.